what I'm very excited to show you is...
Hey, we are Ben and MP, and 2.5 years ago, we have bought a sinking, rotten, wooden boat that we are rebuilding completely with the help of an amazing team of traditional craftsmen. Right now, we are reaching a point where we cannot wait to make her our home, so we are doing everything we can to get her ready inside and out. In this episode, we're going to finish applying the primer of our hull because we really want to get painting. On top of that, we're going to install the first few drawers of the boat. Also, we found a wooden boat graveyard, and the story behind it is going to blow your mind. Before we head into the episode, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It's free for you and it really helps us out a lot. XOXO, Ben and MP. Have a look at this. This was going to be one part and this was going to be another part, but we said, why don't we have something to hold on to, like this? So when you're coming into the bed, or when you're coming out, or when you're standing here, or when you're in this cupboard up here, you've got this thing to hold on to. And I think this is a very fun idea, and we're trying to do this throughout the boat. For now it's quite simple, but we're doing it. This was going to be a super deep storage going all the way to the end. So what we're doing now is this storage over here only goes up to this. This over here, you can see, is going to be a little separate storage in itself. A little, I don't know, quarter of this size will be a little cupboard. So you can have a little entrance from here, which will be very, very cool. This was never in the plan. This was never in the plan, but you can see as we're building this interior, things like this just happen. And Justin's doing an amazing job at all this while we're outside, on top and underneath the boat. Caillou here likes it as well. Have a look. He's enjoying it. Don't you?
Our works on the whole have been evolving quite quickly because we have a very big team like Ben, me, Rafa, Nico, Apache, so many hands working on the hull, which means that this primer is already done. I can check it, and at the moment we are putting the Vinci epoxy, which is the last layer before the final color paint. This of course is above the waterline because under the waterline will be the anti-fouling. We did one layer for now, so this now is being done. I'm really enjoying the looks of Yabá now that's painted. It did make me sad to hide the wood, but the outcome is so nice that I cannot be anything else but happy.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river I have held the devil's hand hand, felt the weight of my own sin, burdened by the heart of man. Down to the river, down to the river. Oh, oh, bury me, carry me, oh, oh, far beneath.
We're moving inside the boat because we're going to start putting a drawer system in the galley. So they're going to go for wood. It's a very traditional system that you just literally have to lift the drawer a bit to pull it out, and when you're closing it, it kind of automatically hooks in place.
What's this? Yes! We've never seen any dog's necks with the quality of these ones from Paul's. They are amazing, and this guy cannot have enough, can you?
I think I'll try one. It is literally chicken jerky.
I don't think you should try it.
Who's jealous, huh?
You want more?
It just tastes like chicken. My brain says dog food because I read it and I know what it is. But it's literally chicken brittle. Chicken, 83% protein. This isn't the finished product yet, but you can see that there is a nice drawer in place. It doesn't open normally, but you just lift it a tiny bit and it does open. What we're working on now is to put a brake so you don't pull it out the whole way, and also a little bar here so it doesn't fall down. So same here, you just shut it. Yeah, a little bit of finishing work needed. Kind of locks into place and it doesn't open unless you lift it a bit. That's the plan. These three first drawers of the boat are now finished. It's lift and open, and then it shuts and it locks itself. So if I were to just push it, it wouldn't open. There's also a little stopper, so it doesn't open more than that. However, it is quite deep, so we might play around a bit with where the stopper is. Also, there's a little slap on top, which is this one over here, which prevents it from falling out. So I really like it. It is just needing a handle. The edges have been rounded just a little bit. We're not going to put a drawer on the bottom one because, I don't know if you can see from there, it goes deep down into the flooring, which means that if there's a drawer, we're actually losing this much space. So we're going to have this openable so we can store, I don't know, pots and pans under there. But these three drawers are very nice. Tabletop needs to go on, and then we can work on the rest of the stuff. The problem now is when you shut everything, it's very, very difficult to open stuff again. So as we have these new drawers over here, same here, you want to be able to lift it and put it, but this little bit under here is not enough for it. You can see I made a little drawing here as a little test to see what the size is going to be of the handles, and I'm going to give one handle a test. Yesterday I already cut lots of slices and glued them together. You call it a slice when it's wood? I cut lots of slices of wood, glued them together, and I'm going to see if I can make a nice handle. There is something in our interior that you might have noticed for a while. Yes, we haven't forgotten about it. It's this huge gap that is on top of our furniture. And now it's time to close this. We were going to do it all in one big piece. However, now I think we've decided to do it in smaller pieces so that we don't have to open a huge hatch. We're going to think we might even put hinges in it so we can open it, check stuff, and close it again. Let's get to this. There's one on this side and one on the other side as well.
Questions, you ain't giving this a chance to burn its light. 'Cause I'm coming up strong. The grass should've looked greener. I need a true believer in disguise. If I'm loving you wrong, she'll change it and receive it. Throw your best believe in me behind. 'Cause I'm over easy. I'm over easy. And I'm over easy.
If you're wondering why we keep moving all this stuff around, these in particular were because they were unpainted and we wanted all the plywoods, especially the end of the plywood, to be painted. We used the epoxy paint again before we install it. Also, everything behind it has to be varnished. When you see all the walls coming down, it's because we're working on electrics. When the walls go back up, it's just because they're in the way. So right now, we removed everything, including these little supports that go all the way around. So now, while the edge piece of wood by the combing board is going on, I'm just putting this away because we've got stuff everywhere, see? So hopefully bit by bit everything's going to find its own place so that soon you start living here. This one is now in place, this wedge. I'm going to call it a wedge because it's going to look like one. The only problem now is because the whole boat is a different shape as our furniture, we have a big combing board over there and a smaller piece of combing board over here. What we want is to not have a big visual difference between both sides. So we want to turn this into a wedge, like I said, a bit shorter in the bow and a bit higher over here, so it kind of visually makes it look straight-ish. And Jilson's working on the other side over here. the bit that's going to go on top of the sofa. I'm busy working on some handles for the drawers over here. This is what I've gotten so far. I'm going to call it a very fancy plywood, Purple Heart plywood. It's just lots of little strips glued together and cut into the shape we want. I'm going to show you what's happening downstairs though, because that is very cool. What you can see right now is the first layer of the Vinci epoxy. I don't know if you can see on camera, but this Vinci epoxy is really, let me get close, it's like a paste. However, what you can see now is the second layer of Vinci epoxy, which means that the next layer that's coming on top of this one is going to be the color of the boat. We went color shopping yesterday, and P and I, we eliminated a lot of colors. We've discovered some new colors.
This is Hawaii. This is Capri, Bahamas. So where do you want to go first? Hawaii, Capri, or Bahamas? This is Caiçara, like our region, das aranha.
Okay, let's go for this because of your singing. I mean it. Do you rather have a green boat or a blue boat
The
eventually?
protection of the sails are green. Our favorite color is blue, but too dark.
Yeah, because this is super nice,
Yeah,
but let's see, but it'll pull in a lot of heat.
yeah. So I think or a light green or a light blue.
Light blue.
You sure?
Because you just said blue is your favorite color.
Blue is our favorite
Yeah,
color.
so then done.
I don't know if you can recognize it here, but this is the shear plank and then the counter shear plank. At least that's how we call them here in Brazil. And the shear plank is very thick, like 9 centimeters. Then the counter one is 6 and the rest of the hull is 5
Shots
centimeters.
of plank, wasn't it?
Anyway, this chamfer that was made, before when everything was wooden and we could see the planks, we could notice the chamfer, but it was not that much of a detail. But now that everything is looking the same color, these 2 lines, I think made it look so beautiful. Even Toninho, the owner of the shipyard, came to tell me like, I don't want to be cocky about this, but have you noticed how well done these planks are? So he was also very proud of his work, and we're in love with it. We're super happy. And now this product can be exposed to weather and sun for up to 3 months. So the clock's ticking for us to choose the final color and cover this and yeah, go sailing. I don't think we're gonna take 3 months to choose the color, so don't worry about that. But I really like the whites after I saw it. So maybe we're leaning towards something not pure white like this, but beigeish, creamish, something like that.
Hey. Some of you might recognize where we are. We're just up the road where there used to be that huge wooden pirate ship that has now obviously splashed or launched. But Adilson used to work here and he has access to all these tools still. So they have a huge table router which we can use to turn these square planks or right angled planks into something nice that will go against our combing board on top of the furniture. So let's head over there. Got my sunglasses, my protective glasses, which I'm now swapping because that stuff makes a lot of splinters. Like any boat, new or old, I just think it's all so fascinating. Like this one, to lots of people looks like a mess, but I think this is so cool. Not that I want to live on it or buy it, but the size of it, the craftsmanship behind it, this spookiness of it. It's like you've got plants growing from inside it and everything. Very cool. But you think this is bad? Let's go and look at these other two that I just spotted. Welcome to the graveyard. So in a previous episode a long time ago, I explained to you about how the fridge area in a fishing boat worked. It was the outer planks of the hull, and then you had some inner planks of the hull inside the frames with styrofoam in the middle. And this is what I was talking about. As you can see the frame, and I think this is actually polyurethane spray, not styrofoam. Frame, foam, frame, foam. And that's what is the entire bit where the ice goes in and all the fish. I think this is all very cool. And you think our boat was bad? You think we should take on the challenge of refitting this one? I don't either. And I think the deck's leaking. This is something you'd expect to see when you go diving. Like, let's go shipwreck diving. Except this isn't even underwater. Very cool. Cool stuff. And this one's also very cool. Once this was sailing the big seas, catching lots of fish, and now is here. Same type of rudder.
The state of these boats is shocking. But what shocked me the most, and even broke my heart a little, was seeing that one of the boats that was sitting there waiting to rot out completely is the boat where my mom used to work at being a tour guide when I was a kid. As I was always with her, Proteção de São João was the boat that made me fall in love with sailing, showed me my first dolphins ever, and watched me grow up and even dared to jump from its deck to the water. Many core memories invaded my mind, and it was sad to see that the first schooner I ever loved is now a wreck. At least the memories are forever, and the best days are yet to come for the schooner I love the most now.
We'd like to thank everyone who's been supporting our journey or donating towards our journey. It's thanks to you guys that this journey of reviving this boat, reviving Yabá, is being possible. So thank you so much. We are so grateful for that. So Carl, Brian and Walter, thank you for becoming a patron. Welcome to the crew, and thank you Antoinette for donating through PayPal. And of course, last but not least, thank you so much for the super thanks, Dwayne, Greg, Wiley, Jens and Joseph. Thank you so much guys, and thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for liking this video and subscribing if you did. See you guys all next week.